Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, today was an interesting day. The U.S. markets actually rallied. Bitcoin came back up within range and is still holding right now. But the altcoins, they have been burning and they continue to burn. So, what is going on exactly with altcoins? And this situation does remind me a lot of what happened before. So I'm going to share my overall thoughts. All right, let's get started. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and follow the brand new CryptosRUs Clips channel. Welcome, 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 guys. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. This morning when I streamed, Bitcoin was falling back down to about 28,000. Then came right back up right when I was streaming and, got within the same range as before. And now it's holding about 29,000. So Bitcoin hasn't really moved for weeks now. So even today, the U.S. markets actually rallied. Dow went up about 500 points. NASDAQ went up. Snapped a 7-week losing streak. But unfortunately, this decoupling right now that we're seeing, well, it's not a good thing because while this was happening, Bitcoin was still holding, but altcoins have been selling off like crazy. This morning, Bitcoin dominance shot up to 45.5%, and now it went up to 46%. That's a half percentage point within a half day. And that's very significant. Very, very significant. And even someone like Ethereum is dumping negative 10% down to 1755 now, right? So what is exactly happening? Well, there is one big event. So I think we will get some clarity tomorrow. It's not for certain, but we do have that big end of month options and futures expiration. So I didn't want to lead off with that. That should actually conclude by the time I stream in the morning, because it usually concludes like middle of the night. At least the options part. The futures part is more like 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, but options is what drives the market more these days. So hopefully with that event gone, a lot of the traders, a lot of the whales that tend to manipulate the market to achieve their goal, to make profit with their call or put with their options, right? We see that a lot happening. And after that event's over, then usually we see some kind of relief. So there is that tomorrow. It's not guaranteed though, but that is coming tomorrow. However, with that said, what's happening right now reminds me of a few years ago, okay? And let me share a story with you guys. Story time. I actually had this drawn out. So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. So I used to show this all the time, and I drew this out, and you could see that there are certain levels, right? Certain highs and low supports and resistances. Just like Bitcoin. But man, it reminds me a lot of what happened previously during some of our crazy rallies and during some of our crazy corrections. Now, up until, I would say, until about a few months ago, despite the fact that Bitcoin has been coming down from November, altcoins, generally speaking, at least the big caps, we're in tandem, moving in tandem with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin went down 5%, they would go down 5 to 7%. If Bitcoin went up 5%, they would go up 5 to 7%. So even though Bitcoin has come down from the high of November, December, right? But it was more in tandem with Bitcoin. But recently, within the last week or two, we have really seen that decoupling, which is why Bitcoin dominance is now slowly moving upwards, and we're starting to see alts just sell off like crazy. So you can see right here, January 22nd, No, January 15 of 2022, so the start of this year, that's when Bitcoin dominance fell down to 39%. And you could see how that was actually, that was actually a low for a couple years. This happened in May of 2021. Remember what happened then? May 2021 was when Bitcoin fell down to 28,000 and we had a tremendous rally upwards to 69,000, right? So when Bitcoin fell down to that 28,000, that was actually a low point for Bitcoin dominance, right? And then we hovered, we went up a little bit down, hovered down, right? And now we're going back up to possibly 47, 48%. And these are levels we have seen before in 2021. So we're in that range. But of course, we had some major movements back in 2021. And that's why you see this fluctuation, right? But if you go back further, some of you guys have been through crypto winter, for example, 2018, 2019, 2020, those times were scary. Bitcoin didn't move a whole lot during those years. And altcoins certainly didn't move a lot. Altcoins, most of them sold off 95, 96, 97% from highs and never moved, which is why Bitcoin dominance went up as high as 73%. You could see it hit 73% back in September 2019. It hit it in January also of 2021, right? So we have definitely seen periods of time where Bitcoin dominance was just dominant, okay, up to 73%, and now we're starting to climb. Now, what does this remind me of? Well, I'm not trying to say that Bitcoin dominance will go from 46% up to 72%, because I don't believe that's the case, because altcoins are much bigger, much more used, a lot more liquidity, a lot more money involved with many, many projects out there. So I don't anticipate that is going to happen. If it did, it would absolutely be, Armageddon for altcoins. Let's just put it that way. It would be total Armageddon for altcoins. That's when you could see Ethereum back down to, I don't know, $100, and Solana being down to $1. And those would be the levels we would be at if Bitcoin dominance went up to 73%. Not to scare you guys. I don't think that's going to happen. But we have seen other times where, you have some major fluctuations up and down, and that is what we're seeing right now, right? We have seen this before. We haven't really experienced a major move for Bitcoin dominance since October of 2021. So it's been a while, more than a half year, close to a year, right? But we have seen the very same thing happen. And prior to that, we saw it happen in July of 2021. So that was about a year ago. So we have seen these levels. So this is what it reminds me of before. When we had extreme fear before, people sold altcoins. They just didn't believe in them anymore, and they just sold them, right? Which is why BT's dominance goes up. And the reason Bitcoin dominance doesn't drop is because the holders are strong. There's a lot more holders when it comes to Bitcoin. There's just a lot. It's been around much longer. There's just a lot more trust and faith in Bitcoin. And there are a lot of long-term holders, miners that will never sell. So that is why Bitcoin dominance, generally speaking, doesn't go down. It just holds and holds and holds, right? So can we get back to some of these previous levels? I would say yes for Bitcoin dominance, maybe 48% like what we saw in July of 2021. Here's one about 47%. But the good news is what happened after those rises, well, you could see Bitcoin dominance started going down majorly. Why did that happen? Because we had pretty significant rallies during those times when we saw the entire market blow up, right? And we see everything go up. And generally speaking, that's when altcoins, they move faster than Bitcoin, and they come back very, very strong and very, very fast, right? So can we see something like that again happen once we reverse and Bitcoin starts moving up and the entire market starts moving up? Yes, we could possibly see that once again, because we have seen many periods like that before, right? So Bottom line is, yes, right now, with all this fear, it's definitely causing people to sell a lot of their altcoins and moving back to Bitcoin, right? But I do believe we will get through this. Of course, we will, right? But a lot of the altcoins that are selling off right now are fantastic holds. They are the ones that will survive. And the ones that do survive, the ones that come out of these major corrections are the ones that become the dominant chains, the dominant projects of tomorrow. And they only get stronger, right? So there are a lot of projects definitely worth holding on to, is what I'm saying. Even though there's a lot of altcoins that are selling off majorly right now. But for me, I would say continue to have patience, continue to hodl, and if you can, DCA into your favorite projects, the ones that you believe in, okay? The ones that you have stuck with for a long time. You got to know the team, the development, the roadmap, the up-and-coming projects, the ones that you know will survive and will continue. Well, this is golden opportunity to DCA, because just like all the previous times when Bitcoin dominance went up, then came down, that's when you saw tremendous gains for some of these projects, right? And this is what I'm showing you only goes back to 2021. But man, look at some of these periods, right? When Bitcoin went from, almost 100% dominance, fell down to 35%. That's when altcoins, man, they took over, right? And then Bitcoin went back up to about 73%, and then it dropped to 39%. That was crazy. That was 2021 when altcoins went crazy, right? So there are definitely periods that we have seen where altcoins got decimated, and then they came back from the ashes and just blew up to another level, right? So just want to start out with that. Just kind of give you guys a gentle reminder of what has happened before and why not to give up on altcoins. All right. With that said, what about Bitcoin? Going back to the big dog. Any good news about Bitcoin, right? Well, there's always good news about Bitcoin. There's a lot of good news. Since I talked about the Dow and the U.S. markets, well, this is an interesting one showing Bitcoin, right, versus the NASDAQ and Dow from the 1990s and 2010s. And you could see, both the NASDAQ and Dow went on a crazy run ever since 2010. But we know Bitcoin has been moving faster than either one and faster than any technology out there, right? And our next leg up could be similar to that. I mean, just take a look at this. This is comparing crypto users to internet users. We are growing faster than the global adoption rate of the internet from 1990 to 2006 versus where we are now from 2011 to 2022. We are growing faster than the growth of internet and the growth of mobile, okay? This is why we are still so early and why you want to be in the game, okay? Other things, people are still paying attention, of course, to the markets, to DXY. There's a lot of charts out there. Here's one that's comparing to the S&P 500. Bitcoin versus the S&P 500. And if you're looking at this, we have hit that same point back in 2021 when Bitcoin hit 28,000, right? And then had a sudden rally upwards. We're at that same point right now in the same ratio, right? Again, does that mean that 25,000 for Bitcoin was bottom? Very well, could have been, right? So this is interesting. This is not using some kind of model or anything. Basically, just a ratio versus S&P 500 right now. And it's showing we're at the same point as 2021 when Bitcoin found that bottom and started rallying up. So that's quite interesting. And here, this is charting Bitcoin versus the DXY, the dollar. We know that dollar, the DXY, has been rising up, but it has been retracing. Now, on the upper side, where it shows Bitcoin, that's actually in reverse. And this person actually did it on purpose to show you how, sometimes when the DXY starts coming down, right, Bitcoin rallies, and vice versa. When, DXY goes up, Bitcoin goes down, right? So kind of shows you if DXY is going to make a sudden move downwards, that means Bitcoin could be making a sudden upwards movement following, previous times, right? So there's that. What else is there? Well, Cathie Wood of ARK and 21 Shares refiled their spot Bitcoin ETFs. A lot of hope that a Bitcoin spot ETF will be approved this year. That could be a gigantic catalyst for Bitcoin, of course. Grayscale also trying to get their ETF approved. Been working with the SEC. Also been threatening the SEC, saying if you don't approve, we're going to sue you. That's interesting. But yeah, this is something that many fund managers want to see happen. And we could have that happen this year. We definitely could. And then lastly, those pesky whales, right? They continue to buy. Here's another example of a whale buying almost 2,000 BTC off of Coinbase. About $60 million just gone, vanished into some cold wallet. So these big whales, what are they doing? They continue to buy. Buy, especially when things are low, right? So that is why if you look at, reserves on exchanges, keeps dropping. So these are all very positive things for Bitcoin, right? Now, outside of Bitcoin, there's not a whole lot. Interesting enough, Lego made an announcement, or not an announcement, like a speech at the World Economic Forum saying that the Metaverse should be developed for children. Because, guess why? Because these children are the ones that's really going to be utilizing the Metaverse in the future, because we're really far off from it. And it kind of makes sense. Not that everything needs to be developed for children, but these companies should keep them in mind, because the children that will be possibly living in the Metaverse in the future, right? They need to get situated with what's going on and so forth. So I kind of agree with that. And you guys know I'm a big Lego fan. And they are trying to get involved with NFTs and the blockchain, of course. So I think that's a pretty thoughtful idea. All right, and then lastly, of course, a lot of you guys want to know about Luna. The Luna airdrop will be distributed tomorrow. Most exchanges have already renamed. Luna is now called Loon C, Luna Classic. UST is now called UST Classic, right? So they have already been renamed. Not every exchange, but some have. And the new Luna will be coming out tomorrow, right? And there is, I did see this. There's a couple of links here that I could post after the video. But basically, you could check your wallet address to see if you're going to be eligible to get this new airdrop, right? So that is coming tomorrow, finally. And hopefully we get the end to this drama. And who knows what is going to happen with Luna Classic or Terra Classic, and what's going to happen with the new Luna. What's the value? Is it going to be worth billions? Is it going to be worth nothing? We don't know. Tomorrow, we will finally get our answers, right? So outside of that, that's pretty much it. I mean, overall, today was just not a good day for altcoins. Just not a good day. But there are a lot of, I would say, delicious pickup opportunities right now. I mean, Ethereum just started selling off. Ethereum was holding pretty well against Bitcoin. Pretty well. It was in tandem for the most part until this week really started separating itself and got weaker, and the Bitcoin, Ethereum dominance have come down. And many others, you could see Cardano below 50 cents now. Solana getting down almost to the 30s, right? Polkadot, man, double digit. Avalanche down to 22. I don't know what's going on with Avalanche, to be honest. Okay, ever since we did start, escalating downwards, Avalanche has just been sold and sold and sold and sold and sold. Because I don't know, because of UST fears or what, but man, it has been getting killed. And then Uniswap, Cosmos, Algorand, VeChain, Hedera, ApeCoin, Tezos down 17%, Elrond 16%. These are all promising L1s that people are ditching right now. They are giving up. They say no more, no mas. But that's why I started this stream saying, just keep in mind, we have seen periods like this before. When extreme fear happens, people dump altcoins first, but then we see Bitcoin dominance fall down because that's when altcoins start rallying up, right? So don't give up on these fantastic projects just yet, unless something else happens. But, there's a good chance when we reverse, these are the ones that will be picking up the strongest, just like 2021 and some of the previous times before. So, all right, let's do some Q&A. Mika says, hi, George. Luna V2 showed up in my MetaMask wallet. Any clue what this is? No. I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all. You're not supposed to be getting anything in your MetaMask. So if you accidentally added it, you went to some fake site that added it or whatever, I would be very careful because that does not look legit. Zach says KuCoin is the one true king. Well, they are the ones that renamed Luna already, so it's called LunaC now, USTC. Edwin says just like InSync, bye bye bye. I used to have a clip. I play of that, but yes. Let's see. How long do you think, David asks, how long do you personally think it will take to get moving again? I mean, it could come as soon as tomorrow. I'm waiting for tomorrow's options expiration to be over. We have seen periods of time where, that week right before options, it's just horrible. Like this week. And, I've been saying Bitcoin has experienced 8 straight weeks of down. Bitcoin has never seen this before. Never in its history. Are we going to actually make a 9th week down? History's on our side, right? We haven't seen any relief for Bitcoin for so long. So long, right? So I think based on all the metrics, all the models I've been showing you guys, even versus, the S&P and DXY, and based on the fact that we haven't had any recovery for the last 8 weeks, I think we're going to see one soon. I think we're going to see, if anything, if not a full-blown recovery, not a path to recovery, but at least some kind of relief rally, which we are so looking forward to. So that could come right around the corner. Waiting for that. Are you buying a new Luna tomorrow? No, I am not. I'm not touching that. I think you've been watching my streams. I have told you guys, and you, Lazaro, that I think this new fork, this new token is going to be worth nothing. It's going to be dumped on the market. Like, why would anyone hold on to it? Like, if you receive your airdrop tomorrow, most people will just dump it, trying to recover something. No one's going to be holding it. So, yeah, I am not going to be buying tomorrow. I'm just curious to see what it starts trading at. Sushi ABR, thank you. What happened to your NFTs on OpenSea? It's still there. It's still there. The Lego one is still up for auction. We haven't seen this kind of effort to pull liquidity out of markets, though. We have. The dollar amount is more. I have heard people talk about how, the liquidity being pulled right now is the most we ever seen. Well, that's because the market is much higher than before. But have we seen liquidity being pulled out of market like this before? Oh, yeah, we have. We have. When the bubble popped in 2017 and 2018, altcoin bubble popped, we saw the same kind of thing happen. Did we see it in 2020 when the COVID crash happened? Yeah, we saw it. We saw it in 2021 too. So, yes, we have seen it. The dollar amount is bigger, but we have seen it. Don't quant. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I expect no less than 50 million worth of Luna tomorrow to be airdropped to my wallet. Me too. Me too. Let's see. Maryland says Stephen is a Ponzi. Guys, don't buy it. Yeah, I don't know if it's a Ponzi, but I don't trust it. Let's just leave it at that. How much of the DXY dump is due to Putin putting up the ruble, if at all? I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with it. But DXY is based on, the USD versus the euro, the yen, the pound, the franc, right? But Putin, if he's trying to pump out the ruble and it drops the euro, I don't know how the relationship is, honestly, but yeah, it could definitely affect it. Thoughts on XCN chain? Lucas, I never heard of that. Jeremy, I have no idea what you just said there. Jesse, sometimes I get really bearish and just want out. Luckily, a few hours later, I tune in your stream and you virtually slam me back to reality. Well, I do what I can. Sometimes it just seems like it's really, really bad. Sometimes it just seems it's really, really bad, and I know it. And everyone's situation is different, and I don't mean to put everyone in the same bucket. A lot of people, they invested a small amount, but that's all they could afford. Some people, unfortunately, invested with credit card or mortgages or loans, right? They're a lot more desperate than everyone else. And there are some people that's just been in it for much longer, and they know, we will pass this, right? But everyone's situation is different. But the one thing I've learned, because I've been through all these situations, been broke before, absolutely broke, decimated by previous corrections, previous recessions. I've been through it. And I've been through crypto winters where I've been decimated too. And I look back at my number one mistake throughout all those periods. Number one mistake was not holding. That's really it. I held on to some fantastic stocks from the dot-com bubble. I had Microsoft, I had Apple, I had Amazon. I had these, that went up like 1,000-fold had I just held on to them, taking into account all the stock splits and stuff like that. No. Same thing with a lot of the crypto, right? A lot of times before, when I didn't understand, I would sell out. Sold Bitcoin in 2014 when it was like $100, So I've been through these times, and even recently, more recent times, right? Whenever I feel like, I'm going to try to outsmart the market, I'm just going to do a little swing trading here or there. I get wrecked. Played a little bit with leverage just for fun. I get wrecked, right? So the one thing I found when it comes to winning this game is really to have patience and hodl. But at least you have to hodl the Bitcoin and the right altcoins. Obviously, in hindsight, hodling Terra was the wrong move, but that's one of many that that would have worked out had I hodled, right? So that's the one thing that I preach is just to hodl. because in all other instances, I found that they have lost me way more money than had I just hodled. That's it. Julio, you still remember that story? Man, in high school, I was known as the Asian Rodman. Like seriously, I would get every board. Have we bottomed and rebounding for 25K low? I mean, it still looks like it. We still haven't retouched it. We haven't gone below it. Could be. Could be. Let's see. Cryptari message retracted. Okay. Is Yasmi a good project? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Slin Online. Thank you. It's true. I was known as Asian Ramen in high school. I had some beefy quads and calves, so I got up pretty fast. But I didn't get high; just got up very fast. Speaking of alts, Adam is killing me. Yeah, it's one of those altcoins that really sold off. Really sold off. So, but you know what? I still think, the project is still fine. But I think it sold off a little more because Terra was within the Cosmos ecosystem. Is Georgecoin dead, or are you planning on utilizing it? I plan on utilizing it for GeorgeCon. So probably some kind of redemption for NFT, which will give you access to GeorgeCon, but still working at it. Ben, I appreciate it. No, I'm not 6'7" like Rodman, okay? I'm 5'10", so. Somnium Space. I've saw it before. It's like an augmented VR kind of play. Yeah, as promised, but kind of early. Am I buying Luna? No. Dale, it could have been that too. Could have been because I like to cross-dress in high school. When are you going to do another NFT drop? I've been holding off. I know a lot of people love my strap-on NFT. So my next NFT will be strap-on 2. All right? So look forward to that, but I just don't feel like it's the right time to be dropping that right now. Money Today Biz. Sold my Raptor for Luna, XRP, and Litecoin. I need a Kremlin flux. Well, I don't know if you're joking or not. But hopefully you are, because I'm not so sure about that lineup. Where's the money going to come from to make the crypto market run again? No stim checks, Fed tightening, no new liquidity coming into the market. Well, that is where you're wrong, my friend. There is so much liquidity out there. Just look at what's happening with some of the major exchanges and VCs. And Andreessen Horowitz just launched a new fund in A16Z, $3 billion. And look at how much money FTX is pumping into projects, how much money Binance is pumping into projects. We're talking about tens of billions of dollars, okay? So the liquidity is not dry by any means. People made a lot in 2021, okay? A lot of the hedge funds, a lot of Wall Street that's panic selling, they have a ton of liquidity. And when they want to, they will enter back in. And we're talking about not just tens of billions, we're talking about hundreds of billions, right? So the liquidity is there. It's just that the fear level is there, preventing the liquidity from coming in. That's okay though, because you don't want to be buying when that comes in. You don't want to buy when things are high. You want to stock up when things are low, right? What do you think? What do you think Cardano will hit with BTC rally? I don't know. It depends on what kind of rally you're talking about. If if Bitcoin goes back to 69,000, well, Cardano will be back to $3 again. But until then, it's probably gonna be weaker because it's not Bitcoin. Oh man, today I'm afraid Golden State is going to defeat the Mavs, and they're going to go to the finals once again. But the good thing about that is, at least it'll rub the situation. It'll rub Durant the wrong way, right? He probably really, really, really regrets leaving Golden State. He could be having another chip had he stayed. And look at what the Nets are doing. They're falling apart. So, yeah. But I wanted to see Mavs make it to the finals, but I don't think it's going to happen. Do I do any sports betting? No. Air Jordan 1s are my favorite shoes. I'm not a big fan of Air Jordan 1s. I can't. I guess I'm just too old. I can't match them. I started buying some 3s and 4s and 5s. I have a lot of 12s, 11s, 10s, But like the 1s, I can't match them. Not for me. Is Golden State a team to beat? I hope so. I'd much rather see Golden State win than Boston Celtics, that's for sure. Jesse, I'm hoping sometime in like February of next year. That's what I'm aiming for, before March and April, because that's when all the other major conferences start. So hopefully in February. I don't like Kyrie's attitude. I don't think anyone does. Air Jordan 2s, literally no one has them. They look like bowling shoes. What's the FUD around the ETH merge? There's no FUD around the ETH merge. Have I ever dunked on someone? No. I got up really quick, but I never jumped very high. I don't have a long wingspan. I'm not tall. I mean, I had a 28-inch vertical, but that only got me to basically the rim, and that's it. Never been able to dunk. It was not cool to work on legs back in the day. So had I worked on my legs more, I felt like I probably could have done it, but it's too late for that now. Now I have horrible knee problems and all these leg problems. I'm currently 50% in ETH and 50% in Bitcoin. Would you DC more into Bitcoin at this point? That's a tough question, right? Because Ethereum has sold off way more recently. So, on one hand, you want to DCA into Ethereum because it's sold off more. But on the other hand, Bitcoin is the safer bet, right? So maybe just split it off into both. That way you can't lose. Yeah, I used to be really good at fadeaways. I had this patented fadeaway shot that no one could stop. Here's the thing. How people played basketball before is totally different now. You go to the gym, no one practices fadeaways. No one practices two-point shots. Everyone's shooting deep threes and step backs. No one practiced step backs before. It was all like post moves, fadeaways, right? Bank shots. All those have gone away. Now, you watch kids play, they're all three-point shots and like close to the half-court line, right? It's like the game has totally changed. I really, really wish we get a true center, like a next generation of Shaq, and just dominate the paint. But I don't think we'll ever see that again. But anyways. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Overall, Bitcoin is still holding within range. We'll see tomorrow after options expiration if we go get a big jump, relief rally, something, right? We've been stuck here way too long. Unfortunately, with altcoins, it's been selling off more. Does present a better buying opportunity, that's for sure. And I want to remind you guys that we have seen this before. We have seen Bitcoin dominance rise and altcoins sell off. And then we get terrific altcoin rallies. It makes people forget all about it, right? So we could be seeing something like that in the near future as well. So don't give up on the good ones. All right? I will see you guys tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. And let's see what happens. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. And I'll leave you with this to ponder.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.